All right, YouTube. So this video today is one that is probably going to change your life a little bit, and it's going to change your photography forever if you really pay attention to this video till the end. And also take some of the things I'm about to say in this video. That didn't go well. That's not going to change your life. But my entire script is on that, so it will change your life. So I'm going to pick it up. So take what's in this video, apply it to what you're doing today. Figure out what you need to change or what you need to think about, and also what you would like to do from a creative perspective. This video is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be available on the public site for a little while, and then it's going to become a member-only content. Because this kind of evergreen content is not made every day. A lot of these are things that I talk about in the workshops that I teach, that people pay a lot of money to attend, and they take you there. I'm going to do this at a high level so it doesn't become boring, but it's more inspirational, and it forces you to think out of the box and do something above and beyond what you're doing today. So if you're here for that, and you own some lenses, and would love to acquire more lenses and things like that, to up your game in photography and things like that, stay here till the end of this video. Grab a drink. It's going to be a little bit longer. And let's have this conversation. But before I jump into this video, please like and subscribe. It's very important that the channel continues to grow. It is growing. And if you've made it here, and hopefully you make it to the end of the video, I think some of the concepts and things we talk about in this video will completely change how you do some things, might tweak some of the things that you do today, and or you already are doing it all, and I can't wait to buy your next book. That kind of situation. Photography is a journey. It's not a destination. A lot of people make it a destination just because, they buy a piece of gear and they think they've arrived. That's not how this works, right? So what you're seeing behind me is a slideshow running of New York City, and I'll speak about that a little bit more in here as we get to that part of it. So what are we talking about? Let's jump right into this video. All right. This video is one that has taken me many years to make. Actually, I never wanted to make it because I wanted to keep this content for the workshops. I'm giving this out there because this is one of my last-ditch efforts to really get people to really understand the level of what you're getting out of this channel is far above and beyond most channels out there that just constantly are bickering about gear, that don't even understand how to improve their photography or shoot things that are worthwhile looking at. So let's get right into this, right? So what is it? Someone asked me a question a few times now, and the question popped up recently again. And you know who you are if you're watching this video. And the question was, if you could only have one lens, what would it be? If you could only have one camera, what would it be? People ask that question. With the cameras, it's a little bit maybe easier because you can just pick one and stick with it and stick other lenses and do your thing. With lenses, it's hard. But it's not that hard. Right? One thing I want to put out here that I want you to think about as we dive into this video, and that is, as you learn more and you know more and you practice more when it comes to things like photography, your gear bag, the amount of lenses, cameras, all these things that you have, continues to shrink because your knowledge is completely diluting the gas syndrome that we all get to acquire gear. Because now you know what the others don't. And fools run after these, rumor sites. New lens coming, new this coming, new that coming. Yeah, but how does it make you any better? It doesn't. Right? So just keep that in mind. Increase your knowledge and reduce the size of your bag that you carry. Then you can just walk around with a nice little leather fancy one, with maybe one, maybe two lenses, and that's it. You're done. You can capture anything. Someone asked me, someone else actually asked me a question. If you had a prime lens, could you shoot a wedding just on one prime lens? And my answer was sure. And they were kind of stunned. How can you do that? It's not possible. Sure, it's possible. People in the old days used to do it. They couldn't afford multiple lenses. They had 35, 50, whatever they had, that's what they did. So don't ever let things like this get to you, right? Let's now start talking about this video. The one lens that changed everything for me, what would that be? It depends. What does that mean for you? It depends. You have to start to experiment with focal lengths. Focal lengths are very, very important in the feel, the emotion, what you produce, what you do, and your quality of your work. What a lot of people don't think about, they're thinking about all of these technical aspects of these lenses and cameras and things, which is fine. I mean, yeah, it's great to, have the banter and, BS for a while. That's great. Where does that get you? Nowhere. You all know the love that I have for Zeiss lenses. There's a reason for that. It's about a little more than 25 years with Zeiss. That doesn't come overnight. But you have to understand what the lenses can do, what they can produce, and how it will render. So this is very important. Focal length has everything to do with how much emotion do you have in the image where the person looks at it and says, I just want to continue looking at this. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it doesn't matter if you shot it on a 400 millimeter, 135, or 85. It doesn't matter. It's what you did with it. So, what does this really mean? The question is, how involved are you in the picture making process? I'm sure you're involved because you obviously are picking up the camera, putting the lens on there, you're shooting this and that. When you use zoom lenses, 24 to 70, 24 to 105, whatever, 70 to 200, all those kind of things. What a lot of people do is they develop a style of photography that is more blow out the background, isolate the subject, make the subject look really big in the frame, like that, it gets big. I'm sorry, I'm just getting in front of the light. Yes, that's good, but that's very limiting. That's also a way of shooting where you are not quite as present in that. And what I mean by that is, It's very easy to zoom into 200 millimeters when something is far away, frame it, take the shot. Are you a part of that image? Not really, because it's happening way down there. There's no way that your, energies are transmitting all the way across to the people way down there that you just zoomed into, right? Not happening. This is where we kid ourselves. If you're shooting events and things like that and you need to deliver something fast, those things are fantastic. You can take a, close up, shoot it, you can go wider, shoot it, because you got to deliver. When you're delivering for a purpose and a meaning that is for yourself, when you want to make a book, you want to truly show your artistic ability, you want to truly show your work, you want to show your style of photography, you ain't getting that with a zoom lens, right? You will not. I can guarantee you, no one develops style with a zoom lens. Once they develop a way their images look, most likely those people have a certain number of prime lenses that are truly making those images come to life a certain way. Then people know, Amar's image. This is Ansel Adams. This is whoever. That's how you know. So your style comes when you limit yourself and discipline yourself. And I'm not saying that you cannot do this with a zoom lens. You can, but it takes a very high level of skill. Someone on the channel named Max, if you saw his shots from a zoom lens, you would never know they're not on a prime. But his skill level is 10 times more than the average Joe on the street, because he knows what it should look like. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. When you're zooming in and out with these lenses, most people do not understand what the look should be. They just want to get the shot. When you're shooting 30 frames per second, you ain't going after the look, you're going after the shot. That's the difference. So I went through a phase of shooting 70 to 200, delivered lots of images. Some of them are outstanding, some of them are just mediocre. Some of them made me a lot of money. Then I started to venture and say, this is really nice. Then I came down to the 135. I said, hey, I want to get a 135 f2 prime. Right? Okay. I actually shot that for probably about a year and a half as my long lens, a majority of the weddings and events that I did. That one lens made me realize what the rendering I was looking for and chasing, trying to get that out of a zoom. Even if I shoot it at 135 on a zoom, it is not the same. A zoom 135 and a 35 prime side by side, they're not the same. They will not look the same. You just have that many more elements in there. It's just how the world is. Just accept it. So I shot that. Then I said, hey, I love 1.2 lenses because love to get a lot of light in there, right? A lot of people just want that. But a lot of people buy 1.2 lenses as more of a staple or a feather in their cap because I can afford a 1.2 lens. I am cool. Check me out. Look at me, right? That kind of thing. So owned many of, 85, prime, 50, 1.2 lenses. And again, shot for many years. And the look and the feel of my images changed. Right? It's not because of the 1.2, it's the focal length changed. I went from shooting mostly 200 millimeters down to 135, now down to 85, now down to 50. Then you can sort of kind of figure out the progression. Here, I'm going to show you something. Here's a 135 Batis. Right here. Here's the 85 Batis. Zeiss Batis. Zeiss didn't make a 50, but I have the Sony 51.8 over there. I'm just talking in mirrorless terms so you guys can understand. But I have been shooting a lot with this guy. This is the Loxia 50 millimeter. And it's actually manual focus. This one. It looks like that. Outstanding lens. Super light, super small. Then we come down to what the fancy thing is, 40 millimeters. No one wanted to make 43, so they just said 40. So Zeiss, this was one of their last Batis lenses, which is the 40 CF, which is close focus, was made. And I'm showing you this because this is a complete holy set. It's like being baptized with, you know, Zeiss lenses and all of the holy primes. That's the 40, and then you have the 25, which I shot for a while. Still do, a lot. Getting wide now. And then we get down to the 18 millimeter 2.8 Batis. That's the complete set. These photos that you're seeing on the screen, they've been shot with the 18 millimeter 2.8 lens. A lot of people, when they do street photography, what's the first thing they say to each other? Get a 50 millimeter lens. Right? Some say get something a little bit longer, some say get something wider, 35. When you get down to the 50 range, the 135, 85, you being as involved and intimate with the people, yeah, with the 85 you can get a little bit more intimate, but 135 you need a little bit of room, right, for the frame to look right. But when you get to the 50-40 range, the human eye perspective starts to come into play. What looks close to what the human eye sees. 43 is the exact for, you know, full frame. It's the dead center of the sensor. But when you have a little bit wider than that, a little bit longer, okay, fine, close enough. But it's not, you know, some people are absolute. When you start shooting with a 50 millimeter lens, and stay till the end because I'm going to give you a bonus tip to try and truly do. I think it will really help you. When you shoot with a 50, now you, my friend, are starting to be involved in the picture making process. What does that mean? You are close enough where whoever it is that you're photographing knows you're there. So another skill has to come into play, which is interaction with human beings. Not being sneaky, not being creepy, all those kind of things. So your social skills kind of kick in. If you are a, you know, introvert, you'll figure out how to deal with that situation. You know, you just figure it out because you're making a photo. You're not just taking a photo anymore. Not saying that you were doing that with the 85, 135. You were still making a beautiful image. It's just, it's different. When you get down to the 40, you are now getting into starting to head down this wide angle territory a wider lens. That has its own problems. You have wide angle distortion, all these things popping. Why? Because optical quality of the lens has to be good for it to look right. People don't look weird. They don't look fatter than they are. It's a piece of art that you're trying to actually produce with a wider angle lens. But if you don't understand the dynamics of how optical lenses work, you're going to F it up. What a lot of people lust for is really wide lenses. I want an 18 to 135. I want an 18 to 500 or whatever. Not a good idea. If you want to actually produce something that is long lasting and you want to build a brand of your own, of your images, how they look, they feel. You look at some of the most profound photographers that are out there, right? I wrote down a few names. If you follow their work, what you will see is you will really start to understand what it does. So one thing, I'll think of those names, but forget the names for a second. Let's talk about the frame. When you shoot with the 135, the amount of the frame that you're capturing compared to what your human eye sees is a small subset of it, right? But yeah, you get nicer looking bokeh and all this stuff. Yeah, that's all great. But it's a small subset, okay? So now just imagine the field of view of your eye is wider than what the lens can actually capture. So when you capture the image, it's highly magnified, right? So less is in there, right? And the advantage of this is you can isolate the distractions, right? That's a big advantage. On the wider shots, you don't quite have that, and I'll talk about that in a second. When you get to the 85, same thing, good isolation, outstanding outside isolation, but now the field of view has gotten wider, right? So you got more in the frame. So now you can actually have a bride and the lady making her hair. With the 135, all you got is the bride with just the hand of the lady making the hair. The lady making the hair ain't gonna fit in there. I'm just giving you reference points. Then you get to the 50, and now you got the bride, the lady making the hair, and you got her toolkit in there, which is all of the different things she's using to make her hair and this and that and all that. That's how wide it's gotten now. Now the field of view's gotten wider. Then you get to 40. Now you got the bride, the hair makeup artist, and now you're also pulling in the couch in the back. You're going a little bit wider. Now we're going to the 25. Now we're in wide territory. I skipped over 35, but if you had 35, it would be wider, 25. I prefer shooting 25, 28 over 35. That's just me. You shoot whatever you like. So now with the 25, you actually got both of the couches and, all of the elements that were there before, all in the same frame. Just imagine this frame happening in front of you. And then you sit there and bring this bad boy out. Super wide. 18 full frame. That's wide. So now, not only do you have all these elements, you also have the ceiling, the end of the ceiling across from you, showing and bowing and all this stuff happening. This is why it's very important to have a really high quality wide angle lens like this that is optically corrected to some degree so you can get, incredible results. It's not perfect. It's not a rectilinear lens. Rectilinear lenses cost a lot more money. You can look up that. That's a different topic. But now you have a frame that has all this stuff. It's actually wider than what your eye can see. Your eye sees around 43 millimeters. So when you went to the 40 millimeter, you already went wider than your eye can see. When you're at 18 millimeters, you're almost twice as wide as what your eyes can see. Like right now, I can see my peripheral vision is like up to here. Now it's like this. Crazy. This is where composition becomes very important. By the way, I know we use loosely these terms like, zoom with your feet and all this shit. It's not really a thing. It's just, don't fall for it. Anyway, having all those elements in play, how do you produce a masterpiece? Now, my friend, you're in the picture making business, not taking. Because now you're forced to think through, how am I going to photograph this with all the distractions around? And that bride is going to look at that photo and say, you captured the grandness of me actually getting ready in a shitty room. That's when you graduate from a Best Buy photographer to someone that's a real professional. I'm going to go off topic for 1 second and come right back. I saw a very famous YouTuber mention the other day, they turned their photo black and white on their Nikon 3512 review. It just looked better. It had all this mixed lighting in the room, this, that, and the other, so just turned it black and white and then use my presets and then you can do your X, Y, and Z. That lets me know, my friend, you still got a lot of work to do. We all have mixed lighting, but that's the difference between a professional and someone posing to be a professional and still an amateur. Anyone can take a shot. But to get the ambiance of all of the different lighting that was there, turning it black and white, it just lets me know you effed up. You don't know what you're doing with it. That's when you need tools like your color checker passport. Can't shoot that. We don't have time to shoot that. We're too cool. Okay, great. Just turn them all black and white. And what makes you think that just because you turn something black and white that you had all the gradations that a true monochrome camera would have? You don't. You kind of just got by. This is why composition is very important. Prime lenses will force you to learn composition. Zoom lenses will destroy your composition. If you learn, okay, let me say this again before you guys take your hands off the keyboard. Calm down. If you want to from this point forward, now that you've gotten this far in this video, watch it till the end. Got a bonus tip. If you learn the game on prime lenses first and understand what these really prominent focal lengths do to an image that your eyes see, once you understand that relationship, and that's not going to come by just shooting for 1 week and doing a test chart result and saying, oh, this lens is awesome. No, it's not. Shut up. Use it for a freaking year and then come back and say something. You have no idea what you're doing. They're just doing this so you can use the link and, buy products. Fine. If that's the goal, just say it. I just want you to buy the damn lens. Don't worry about what I'm saying. Just buy the lens. Right? Once you understand that relationship, what it's going to do for you is no matter what zoom you pick up, you will know what the composition needs to be in your mind see through these 43 millimeter eyes and produce through that 18 millimeter lens. Mind to the 43 millimeter eyes to the 18 millimeter lens. Let that sink in. It can be 32, 35 millimeter. It doesn't matter. Whatever. It's the concept. You are not going to get this level of education on YouTube. You will not. Because these people are not practicing all these fancy words they use on each and every one of you, and you fall prey to it. Clicking links, buying more lenses, buying more. Stop buying shit. Just totally stop buying shit. Look at everything you have first. If you have a zoom lens that you haven't used in the 6 to 12 months, and you're probably not going to use it, sell it. Sell it right away. Get the money. And think about what I'm saying and acquire some prime lenses that you would like to actually learn this concept. So here is the bonus tip, and then we'll wrap up this video. It's getting long, but there's a lot that was said in this video. The bonus tip is pick a focal length. My recommendation is start with a deeper lens. What does that mean? Start with a 135 or an 85 prime. Shoot that for 6 months and make it your only lens for 6 months, nothing else. And master the composition on 135. Master the composition on 85. If you're going to get both of these, then that's 1 year right there. You're already there, right? Do that. Then take your 50 or a 40 type of thing, whatever you like. Shoot it for another 6 months. Master it. Then head into the wide angle territory. What you will find is going from the really deep type of shots with tons of bokeh to the wider type of shots. Your journey and the incremental growth that you will have as a photographer by the time you get here, it's going to be tenfold. Then go ahead and pick up a 18 to 135 lens and shoot with it. And I guarantee you the way you use that 18 to 135 at that point, it's going to be completely different than how you use it today. Because you understand composition now, my friend. And you understand what each focal length is doing to the image. Because your eye can only see, you got it, 43 millimeters. You go anything wider, no can do. And your eye can't see 200 millimeters. No matter how hard I try, I can't see 200 millimeters. I can't like slice like this and make it like only that. Can't do that, but the lens can do it for you. Going wider than 43, I can't do this. I just can't, no matter what I do. Too bad, God only gave you 43. Stick with it, enjoy it. Learn this principle. You don't have to thank me. Pay it forward once you learn this principle. You pay this forward, each one of you that watches this video, to 100 people, and those 100 take it to another 100, and it multiplies, we will change the face of photography on YouTube with all of this bullshit and misleading that goes on like there's no tomorrow. Zeiss did not sponsor this video, but I'm telling you right now, there's something about these lenses that you will not get on any platform. I don't care what you say. Even with the Canon, Nikon, all the lenses, they're great. It's not a Zeiss. Just not. Just like a Leica lenses, It's not a Leica. It's just not. There's just something about them. But don't worry about that part of the puzzle right now. Worry about composition. How can you start to understand the focal lengths? Focal lengths, as I said before, will either destroy or truly amplify your photography. You pick what you want it to do. It's in your hands. Now that you watched this video, you cannot blame anyone else for you taking badly composed photos moving forward. That's off the table. It's all on you. Go out there and make it happen for yourself. Truly believe in yourself, because I know you can do it. Like, subscribe, be nice to each other. Share this video with every single person that wants to do anything photography, filmmaking. All of this applies to video too. Same thing. Concept doesn't change. So, with that, I hope you found this useful, and I hope you enjoyed these 18mm wide shots. They look amazing. That's the World Trade Center disappearing, Brooklyn Bridge, at night. Just beautiful. This is the cathedral downtown, right outside of the World Trade Center, right here. That's the Oculus, inside the Oculus. But it's all about the composition, right? Going wide, using all the different elements to make it work, right here. It's in practice for you. There's a reason why I did not show you 135 shots. It's taking this little box over there and, the building, as you can see, using the rail along the bridge to create these types of things is composition. You're up on that bridge. Look at that composition of New York City. A lot of people photograph New York. But the question is, do people see New York the way you see New York? One last tip that I'm going to leave you with before we end this video. What lens, if you could have one, should you buy? I mean, if it's up to me, just buy everything, right? Don't do that. Only you can answer that on how far you want to go in this journey. But once you learn this game, and once you master this game, the passion and mastery of light, if you master that, photography is closed inside this fist that no one can open and destroy for you. No matter what gear they give you, no matter what lenses they give you, you will produce incredible output. So with that, go get it done. You guys can do it. I have done it. It's taken me years, but I can actually go and photograph street photography with 18mm. Can you? And compose? I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. Work on your craft. You got this. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.